All right, listen up. This is the guide. We got to get this out, man. We got to get this out. I'm hungry. How hard is part 2 to understand if I'm fucking stupid? Nah, man, it's going to be easy. Before we talk about this, man, you want to place these markers down, and you want to put the markers like this. This will help you with like multiple mechanics. So the first thing you're going to do is you want your tanks to stack, because the auto attacks, they're actually like little mini busters. I'll pull from this side over here. So you can see both tanks get kind of fucked up. All right. Yeah. So this is the raid AoE, man. What's it called? Ioniopire? Dude, whatever, man. It's fucking raid AoE. It's called Ion. Okay? It's called Ion. All right? So this is just raid AoE. So you have so the tank autos are always like multiple busters, you know, or whatever. Okay, now this is the actual tank buster here. It's called Tyrants and Holy Darkness, dude. That's metal as fuck, dude. That sounds like a metal song, man. Okay, and what it is, it's a tank buster on both tanks. So you just need to spread. It's a pretty simple tank buster. You spread, it hits both tanks. I invuln it because your invuln can catch the next 2 auto attacks. So that's why we don't stack up again. All right. Okay, now natural alignment. Okay, so you see these 2 debuffs right here? So this is either going to go on DPS or supports. So it can go on either role. And both of these are always on one role. The person with this debuff, they don't have to do any mechanic. They're not getting any mechanics. Okay, so, you know, if you got a slow learner in the group, then whenever they get this, be happy. These 2 people cannot be hit by any point of damage. Because if they do, they blow up and you die. So basically, the people with these 2 debuffs are completely out of the mechanic. All right, this is basically showing you what's going to happen next. So this is a spread right here, and this is a stack. One of these bars is going to start to fill up. Whichever bar starts to fill up, that's the one that goes first, and then the other one goes second. So this looks like... Okay, so this looks like spread first into stack. Now, if you notice, at the same time, the boss is casting Tyrant's Flare. This just puts a baitable AoE underneath you, so that's why we're all stacked. Because it goes bait, stacker, spread, and then the other, the pattern is pretty much the same. What we do, we stack up here, and then if it's spread, we go to our protean positions. If it's stack, we just run straight back. Right here. Regardless of what it is, these 2 people right here with the debuff, they will always run right here. Always. And stay. They're going to be like pretty much right here for the entire mechanic. So this is bait, spread, stack. Bait, spread. And now, before the stack, he's going to do another cast, which is this thing. All this is either be on the left or right side. Because if you look at the boss, he's going to be cleaving down that side. So see that shit? Watch this shit. See that shit over here? See that? He was a cleave. Now you can tell that he's going to cleave because of his animation. Okay? You only look at your hotbars, you need to get the cousin. The way we do our elements is really easy. Yeah, the cousin. Okay. So then, because you stack, you're just going to stack up on the safe side. That's it. Now, let's say that this was stack first and then spread. We run south to stack, and then we look at the boss to see which one is cleaving, and then we move to that side, and then we just spread out. That's it. These 2 people right here, they will stay like in this general area. Okay, now... after you stack spread, now keep in mind these players are out of the mechanic. Okay, so here's what we do. All right. So it's going to be either fire or ice first. Fire targets the 3 furthest people away from the debuffed players. And ice will target the 2 closest players to the debuffed players. The ice are 2 light party stacks. So you need a stack of 3 here and a stack of 3 here. The fire are 3 buddy pairs. So you need a buddy pair here, a buddy pair here, and a buddy pair here. I've seen a lot of different ways to do this. I'm not going to go into the other ways to do this, okay? I'm going to give you our way we do it. If you want to do it awesome, I think it's pretty fucking easy. Other people can think that their way's fucking easy too, and that's cool. Whatever role gets the debuff, that same role will be in charge of the extra fire stack. So that means 6 players get to be completely fucking brain dead. Now let me explain this. I am always here. Grand is always here. 1 healer's healer's always here, and the other healer's always here. The only time that we are not in these positions is if we get this debuff or if our roll gets the debuff. And if that's the case, then we're the extra fire stack and we're far for ice. That's it. What does that mean exactly? So let's see which one is first. Okay, so it looks like ice is first. Now, for every mechanic, I am right here, and Grand is right here. And on the other side, you mirror that with a healer. The two tanks and healers are always in the same spot, unless their roll gets the debuff. Since the DPS have the roll, then that means these two right here, they're the extra DPS. So where do the extra guys go? They go in the back for ice, and then they go in the back for fire. They go south for fire. They're in the back for ice. Then when we shift... Now you notice I'm still in the same position. I literally just shift directly down. Everybody moves in the same position except for the two odd people. And in this case, the two odd people are the two non-debuff DPS. And what they do is they bait the last fire. One of them has to be close and the other has to be far. The far guy will bait the fire and stack with this guy. When we were up here, the party stacks, because there's two 3-man stacks, and because the ice targets the two closest people. So this is going to be targeted on me, and the extra DPS is going to be back here. The extra guy's responsibility is to be far for ice and bait the fire. Let's say the two healers were to get it. Well, that would mean that a melee would be permanently here, a melee would be permanently here, a range would be permanently here, and a range would be permanently over here, or whatever. You can have set positions. So then that would mean that I would be the extra guy over here, Grand would be the extra guy over here, and then when we stack for the fire, you see how Flux and Balana are running down here? Instead of Flux and Balana, it would be me right here and Grand right here. That's it. It might be a little confusing at first, but once you do it, it's very fucking easy. Yeah, so there can be debuff on a tank and one healer, yeah. You just apply the same logic, right? Let's say I get it and Bot gets it. Okay, well, since Grand's a tank, he's priority on front and left. So he's going to bait the front fire and he's going to go left for the ice party stack. Whereas Chet, since he's healer one, he has to adjust because healers adjust. So he's going back and to the right. Basically, with the way you do this, you don't need any call outs whatsoever. I'm not really sure how too many other groups do this. Their way could be better. Their way could be worse. I don't know. All I can tell you is that this way was very easy for us to learn, and the execution of this is extremely simple. That was a lot of explaining, but I'll just run it back. Okay, so at the beginning of this mechanic, one of them called front left, the other called back right. DPS. Me, before this mechanic even goes out, I already know that I'm going to be here and here. That's it. I only have two possible positions, here, and they're both the same position, just in a different row. Grand the same way, Bach the same way, Chet the same way. Now, on the sides, there's going to be guys shooting lasers. Okay, they never shoot two lanes next to each other. They always have one lane apart. If the first lane is being shot, then the second lane is free. And then they just swap. It's always like that. Okay. So you got party stacks, the extra guys. They go in the back for ice, and then they go bait the fire. And this is what the guys look like with the lasers. There's just these lasers you pretty much just ignore, completely ignore. It's very important that the three fire players are like on this line, and everybody else is like right up here, right up here, right up here. And the reason why is because this guy's going to get hit with fire. This guy's going to get hit with fire. This guy's going to get hit with fire. And you can't hit these two. Anyway, after this, there's just another AoE, reprisal, you know, MIT, whatever. It's an AoE into a tank buster. I think. Yeah. Okay. Like, okay, that like element mechanic, it's really easy. There's a lot of rules to it, I guess, but it's really easy to execute. So anyway, after you do the elements, he's going to do high concept. This is the first big mechanic or whatever. You know what I mean? This is the first puzzle mechanic. This hits really fucking hard. Make sure you mitt this shit. All right. Now I want to tell you this, okay? I want to tell you this from the start. This part is really fucking obnoxious to heal. Everything in this phase does damage and some things put a dot on you. So do yourself a favor. Make sure you're only spread out really far when you have to be, because this phase is really obnoxious to heal. And if you're a tank, try to keep your eye on like squishy your DPS and shit and like, you know, give them some mid or whatever, you know? Anyway, this mechanic is super fucking easy. So let's look at these debuffs, man. Okay, so you got a 3-person stack. You got a Y, a B, a 2-person stack, 2 A's, another Y, and another B. Okay, that's a lot of shit. All right, well, it's actually pretty easy. You can swap these positions. We just did it this way. We put the 2 stack right here. So the 2 stack and the alpha go together. Now, if you notice, there's 2 of each debuff. There's going to be a long Nisi and a short Nisi. This Y, B, and A are the Nisi. In this 2-man stack, we use the long Nisi. In the 3-man stack, you got B Nisi and Y Nisi. You're just going to go up here in this safe corner. Now, the short Nisis, A, B, and Y. Why do we choose these? We just put the A here with A here, and because Y2K. I don't know. That's just what we did. It doesn't matter. You could put the A up here, the Y down here. It doesn't matter. So then when the timer goes off, boom, they explode. All right, now you're going to get a symbol above your head. Okay, see these motherfuckers with a symbol? I'll get to the symbol in a second. Okay, so everything explodes. Now the next part happens. There's going to be towers that spawn. So if you notice, he's got a water symbol. So basically what you're trying to do is you're trying to soak these towers. But you can only soak these towers if 2 people stack and create the correct element. If you look at this guy's got green, which is wind, and electric. Purple, which is electric. Okay, so this guy's got blue, which is water, and electric. So let's say that instead of water, these 2 towers were lightning. These 2 players would converge. They would stack on each other, and then they would get an animal buff above their head, and lightning is Ixion. And once they get that animal buff, they can go into the tower. If you go into the tower without that buff, then you just fucking die. You can't see the guy over here. But I could tell you that the guy over here in his hexagon, they have a water. So the A guy is going to come over in the middle and he's going to meet this dude and they're going to merge. They're going to get an Ixion buff over their head. One of them is going to take the north tower. One of them is going to take the south tower. At the same time that that's going on, the boss is going to do a room cleave. Okay? Hold on, maybe I show it. Here we go. This is perfect. Okay, now you see how this guy has water and this guy has water? Okay, well that means that if they merge, they have a common element. They're going to merge and they're going to get the water animal. Whatever tower it is, and it can be electric, it can be wind, it can be water. Whatever the tower is, those are the 2 people that need to merge and take this. I know this is like a lot of information. I know this sounds complicated, but trust me, man, when you do it, it's going to be so fucking easy. Now they're going to merge. One of them is going to take North Tower. One of them is going to take South Tower. And then there's going to be a room cleave. When you soak the tower, you either want to be here or you want to be here because the cleave goes down the middle. So in this case, you want to be over here in the tower. Sorry, boys, we're getting tired. We're on a 12-hour stream. We're getting tired. Okay, so look. What is that? Is that a Bismarck? Whatever this is a water animal. So that means you can go in the tower. Now, once the tower is done, there's going to be round 2. Round 2. Okay, because remember, there's people with long Nisis. This guy, and this guy still have a Nisi. If you also look, this guy's left over. The 2 tower people and the guy that's left over, they go to the safe spot. And the safe spot is up here. Northwest is always safe. Okay, now if you look at this picture probably makes a lot more sense now. You have these 2 people stacked. These are the 3 first deformations that went off. This is before the towers. So now the second part of the towers. Okay, in the first towers, we had this guy and this guy were used. Remember how this guy ran to the middle right here and this guy ran to the middle and then they fused and then one of them grabbed this tower and the other grabbed this tower. The people with the 2 stacks, they need to go replace the people that were used. So in the second picture, remember this guy merged. So that means that the 3rd stack starts from north and goes clockwise. The 2nd stack starts from 1 and he goes counterclockwise. So in this case, case, the third stack would go stack with this guy because this guy was used earlier. This guy would stack with A because A was used earlier. Okay, now why do you have to do that? Because you need to be able to make any combination of towers. So if you look in the video, you can watch from my POV because I was actually one of the stacks. Okay, so I'm 3 stack. Okay, so boom, I get hit. Now, the first thing I look for is, okay, what's the tower? Water. Then I start from A, go clockwise. Who is the first person that has water? Boom, this guy here. This means that he's going to be used. This means that I'm going here. The guy with the 2 stack, they're doing the same thing, just the opposite direction. So in this case, I'm going to stack here with him. The 2 stack is going to stack down by A. I hope I'm explaining this okay. Because this is one of those mechanics, man, that is so fucking easy. If I can do it, anybody can do it. Trust me, because I'm a fucking brain damaged monkey, dude. Okay, and if I can do it, anybody can do it. All right. Now, because this guy wasn't used, that doesn't mean that his job is done. The first 2 that are used, their job's easy. They get in the tower, they go up here, they're done. Now more defamations go off. This is the last set. Okay. You cannot merge people with the exact same hexagon. You see how this one is the same as this one? We can't merge. If we merge, see this is a leaf, we turn into a tree and we die. You can only merge with someone with a different hexagon, but it has to be a different hexagon with a similar shape. This part doesn't even matter. The potion doesn't even matter. The only thing that matters are these 2 right here. Think of it like these are the possible combinations that you can have. If you need wind, then this guy would have to fuse with this guy. And the reason why is because this symbol is different from this symbol and they both have wind in it. In this iteration right here, I have water, so I know I'm going to be used. This guy's not even used. This guy's going to be used. And these 2 are going to be used because they both got water. This guy over here, I don't know what the fuck he's got, but it ain't water. What I think is going to happen is I'm going to move here and Bach is going to come up here with me. We both have water, but our symbols look different. We can merge and we're going to get water. He doesn't have electric and I don't have wind, so the only possible outcome is water. TLDR, just look for the common element, but it can't be the identical symbol. That's it. So let's see what happens. Yep, what did I say? Yep, what did I say? It's exactly what I said happened. See how we merge? Oh, there's another cleave here too. So we merge, he grabs a tower, I grab a tower. The other guys down south did the exact same thing. That's it. Okay, so we could just look the whole mechanic over again. It's one of those mechanics, man. It's like a whole bunch of fucking explaining. And once you do it, you're just like, holy shit, this is so fucking easy. I promise you, man, this is easy as shit. Okay, boom. Debuffs go out. You put the long A with the 2. You put the long B, the long Y with the 3. A goes to southwest. B goes to southeast. Y goes up to northeast. Boom, defamations go off. Immediately when defamations go off, you look for the tower. What element? Okay, it's water. So that means 2 is going to be used and A is going to be used. So you need 2 and 4. So the 3 stack is going to take the 2. The 2 stack is going to take the 4. They're going to replace. Because you need those elements again. You need to be able to basically, you need to be able to make water again. That's what I'm trying to say. So boom. Debuffs go out. Water again. So now you merge. You merge. Call out the cleave. His side will start to light up. Dodge the cleave. Do not stack these. Do not stack these buffs. These debuffs. If you do, they'll explode and you'll die. That's the end of the mechanic. That's the end of the mechanic. That's it. Is there a quick way to tell which debuff is long and which debuff is short? Yeah, one of the debuffs is like 8 seconds and the other is like 20 seconds. After that, it's just a raid AoE into some tank busters. And then you have this shit. So this mechanic is called Limitless Desolation. This mechanic's really easy, but it's a debate. And the reason why it's a big debate is because it's like a 3-part mechanic. So 1, you have to spread. 2, you have to remember when you got hit because you have to grab a tower. And 3, you have to bait an AoE. We separate tanks and healers. You separate the arena. So you have like a tank here, and then, you know, you just mirror that on the 2 panels down here. And then you can have like a melee here and a melee here. You only need to worry about your 2 columns here. A tank will never grab a tower over there. Use this line and pretend there's a wall between the 2 groups, and you're just responsible for this half of the room, and these guys over here are responsible for that half. So there's 4 AoEs that go out, or sorry, there's 4 pairs of AoEs that go out. It always hits a support and 1 DPS, support and 1 DPS, and then support and 1 DPS, and then support and 1 DPS. So that's why you want to separate by role. So basically, see this tower right here? I'm not grabbing this tower because this is the first tower that spawned. These are the first 2 that spawned, okay? Gwen is going to grab this first tower, and Grand is going to grab this tower because he got hit first over here and he got hit first over here. So you have to stay spread. Okay, now, who got hit second? Looks like Chet and Balana. Okay, well, we can't see the other side, but this is the second tower right here. So this is tower 2. So that means that Chet is grabbing that tower. You have to stay spread for a majority of the mechanic. Because if I run next to Chet, I'm going to hit him with my explosion. Okay, now you see, Bot got hit with the 3rd explosion. So I don't know where the fucking 3rd tower is, but wherever it spawns, that's what tower he's grabbing. Once I see that, I know I'm grabbing tower 4. Okay, look at this. This is awful. So Bach is here. Bach's tower is all the way right here. But that's fine. Even though that's a far distance, it looks like a far distance. This mechanic goes off. It's extremely slow. Like, you'll be able to see. And I see, so remember I told you there's going to be an AoE. If you watch Grand, okay, so he gets hit. Now he knows he's going into this tower. He doesn't go into the tower right away because, like I said, this is a debate. Like, look how long he waits. Okay? Look, he's still waiting. And what he's waiting for is he's waiting to bait out this AoE. And this AoE is going to be like this. And after he baits out the AoE, he's then going to run into the tower. So these towers are a big debate. They want you to go in right away. If you see where Chet is standing, he's standing on an intersection. Grand is standing on an intersection. And the reason why is because if you stand on these intersections, like the towers will always spawn like inside these squares. You can use these intersections, and right when you see your AoE, you can run into your tower. That's why he's standing there. Now, I know we put that AoE down, and remember, Bach has to grab this tower. This is Bach's tower, and he's all the way back here. But it's fine, because this AoE is going to go off way before Bach has to grab that tower. So then I got hit. Okay, now my tower is right here. I already know I'm going right here. And because I'm the last person to get hit, I know I can stand next to people and not kill them, because I was the last person to get hit. So, like, I could have stood here, but I chose to stand over here because I want to get uptime. So I want to be able to stand in my tower and still hit the boss. You know what I mean? Okay, so that's like literally that whole mechanic, man. That's that whole phase. And then there's a fucking raid. There's a fucking raid damage, you know? There's raid damage. And then there's another tank buster. Would you guys believe me if I told you the fight's halfway over? There's only 2 more mechanics. Okay, I guess there's only 3 more mechanics. All right. So this is natural alignment again. Okay, so you guys remember the all right. You guys remember the thing from the beginning, right? This is literally the same mechanic, except for he slips in this cast. Inverse magics. Okay, so that just means that whatever the bar says is the opposite. If it's spread first, then it's really stack. If it's stack, then it's really spread. If it's fire, it's really ice. If it's ice, it's really fire. The only difference is we handle this a little bit different because this part is hard to heal. This debuff, it actually does a pretty high amount of damage on the afflicted player, even on tanks kind of. So for this mechanic, we have set spread spots. We go tank, tank, Healer. I think it's melee, ranged, and ranged, I think. You can set these spots because there's no left and right during this part. The left and right comes later. We put the 2 debuff players right there and the stack right there. Sometimes the stack will be over here if the 2 players afflicted are ranged DPS. You could always put the stack here. We just did this for easier, like, caster shit. So the inverse magic, when this debuff goes out, the inverse is this one right here. So basically the player afflicted with this one, that's the one that's going to be swapped. When like these debuffs go out, the first question you're going to ask yourself, what role? Okay, it's on DPS. So that means the other 2 DPS, which are these 2 here, they're going to be the flex guys. The next question you're going to ask yourself is the inverse. Which one is going to be the fucky one? So in this case, the fucky one. Here's another way you can tell too. So you see how these debuffs, they're above Gwyn and not B'Elanna. If you look at Gwyn, his is just normal. All right. But the inverse is on B'Elanna. So that's how you can tell. Okay. So because he doesn't have inverse, this is true. Yeah, this is true. So true stack into true spread. Now, because we stacked on row 2, the spread will always be row 1. It always alternates. So if you can see, I went to my position pretty quick because right when we knew we were going to stack here, I knew that my position was going to be right here. And Gran knows his position is always going to be right there. So you can have static positions. And even the people with the debuff go to their static spread position because they're not going to take damage because you're not, as long as everybody's in their own position, then you're good. You know what I mean? Okay, now here's the inverse. So you do this exactly the same as you did the first. You know, like I said, my position is here or it's here. I'm literally just waiting here to see which row is safe. This is literally the same as the first. Literally the same as the first, man. So it looks like fire first. So we're doing fire first and then ice. And this is inverse, so the bar is going to fuck with you. And then that's it. That's it. Well, I guess you got to move to the right side. You got to move to the correct side. Yeah. Yeah, so that's it. And then there's an AoE. Yo, remember when we thought we were going to play the game today? Remember when we thought we were going to play the game today like 12 hours ago? By the way, that's just another tank buster. Just another tank buster. The way we did tank busters, and you guys can do this or not, I invuln the first one. We split the second one. Grand invulns the third one, and then we split that one. If you're going to invuln the third one, whatever tank isn't invulning, save your 30% for the fourth one, and just give all your mitt to the tank that's not invulning. And then this is high concept too. Okay. All right. All right, guys. Are we awake? This one's not bad either. I don't think so anyway. So you handle this the same way almost. There's a new debuff, but it's easy. You're going to send the Y up to here again. You're going to send the B there again. You're going to send the A there again. And then you're going to send the 2 stack and the long A in the same location. So literally, that's 5 debuffs going to the same location. Same as the first. The only difference is you're going to get 2 people with nothing. This time, the player with the double stack, they're also going to have a long Nisi. And this debuff here with 1 person just literally means just get the fuck away from everybody. This person just has to go up here by himself. This debuff is going to be long. That's going to be a long Nisi. This is going to be a long Nisi. All of these are short Nisis. So they just go to their spot right away, just like the first one. So the people with 2 nothing, they go right here. The reason why they go right here is because they want to get the fire. And the reason why they want to get the fire is because after you get the fire, they merge immediately. They have like an Ifrit buff. And then, believe it or not, their job is pretty much done. So I get long Y. Okay. Or short Y, sorry. So I get short Y. You got the solo stack right there. The double stack with the long A right here. Over here, you got the short A with the 2 people with nothing. And over here, you got the guy with short B. All right, boom. Now, if you notice, there's 2 towers. You handle this the same fucking way. So I noticed that these are electric and I got electric. So that means I'm merging with somebody. So I'm just going to run to the middle. This guy over here, he has electric. So this guy's going to run and meet me. All right. One of us take the north tower. The other takes the south tower. That's it. After this, the 2 people that took the towers and the 2 fire guys, you're going to need to bait ads. They're really easy. And how you can tell where to go is we just had the guy in the north tower always get the north ad. The guy in the south tower always get the south ad. And then the 2 people that stacked for the Ifrit, they just pre-positioned and one of them was more to the left and one of them was more to the right. And that would indicate what ad you were getting. These ads, they start north, south, east, west. All you have to do is stand close to them and they tether themselves to you. And then you just run to a location. So you grab the tower. So far, this is exactly like pretty much like the first phase. Or the first high concept. You see this symbol right here? That means this guy didn't get used. So remember in the first iteration, how the guy that didn't get used, they just came up here and just chilled. Okay, well in this one, whatever position does not get used, so let's say this guy didn't get used, instead of running here to the safe zone, they would actually run back here so they get hit with the Nisi and it refreshes their buff. You just have to remember that if you don't get used in the first iteration, you need to get hit by the Nisi again. And then the other Nisis will just go to their normal location. So like you'll have the Y right here, the B right here, and the A right here. Pretty much after the next defamations go off, you can see there's 4 towers and there's going to be water and there's going to be wind here in this iteration. So basically like you're just going to do the same exact thing as you did in the first one. The water guys are going to stack like right here and one of them is going to grab this one. The other is going to grab this one and the wind guys are going to do the same thing. These towers, they can be like swapped. Can have a water here and then over here you can have like a water. TLDR, just handle these towers pretty much the same as the first and you'll be fine. So these ads. Now remember, I'm north tower, so I grab the north ad. South tower, grab south ad. The 2 Ifrit guys, they're east and west. So I'm just gonna stand here. They tether the closest person. That's how you do it. So you're gonna tether, and then you're gonna move one square in because it's gonna fire a laser. Holy shit, that's way too dank. Jesus. See this laser? So you're gonna do this in every corner. So pick up the ad. Move like all the way over and up 1, pretty much. Now, that's the end of that. Now this part, you got a bunch of animals. You need to have the wind guy and the fire guy stack on top of each other. So like, and then when they fuse, they're going to do this shit, right? And they're going to give everybody the Phoenix buff. This is kind of a pain in the ass for healers because everybody needs to be full HP. And the reason why is because when this Phoenix buff goes out, it does like 99.9% of your HP. So it literally takes you to 1 HP. Oh, real quick, you want to use the melee LB3 here because this buff, it gives you a damage buff, a huge damage buff. So you want to use the LB here because you don't want to be using the LB3 when you have your damage buff because your GCDs are worth a lot more. No, it doesn't affect your LB. In the final phase, your GCDs are worth more than limit break. And then after you get this buff, if you notice, everybody goes to 1 HP. What this is going to do is basically the boss is going to cast Ego Death. And if you don't have this Phoenix buff, Ego Death just kills you. So everybody has the buff. You start dealing damage, you know, then he kills you or then he tries to kill you. He does Ego Death, you know. See the cutscene. So then everybody gets rezzed. Okay. 1 GCD, pot. Like, look at my brutal shell, dude. I just did like 19K with a brutal shell. That's big dick. You just dick this guy down. All right. This phase is a victory lap. No, tank LB is definitely faster than melee LB. Well, the first one. It's probably worth using, yeah. Yeah. But this is just the bleed. So this is the bleed again. It's just a normal standard, like, you know, raid shit. And then this is Dominion. So Dominion is another role-based mechanic. It hits 2 supports and 2 DPS. Dominion is going to hit 4 players, and then it's going to send out 4 towers. The 4 players that got hit, they don't take the first set of towers, they take the second set of towers. So if you don't get hit by this earthquake or whatever, then you take the first set. You move in for healing, you grab the second set. So like, let me give you an example. We split the room in 2. Tanks and healers will always call 1 and 2. DPS will always call 3 and 4. Now, if you notice, these 3 towers are closer to this side. So the healer that calls 2 needs to be aware of that their tower might not be right here, but might be in the middle of the room. The tanker healer that calls 1 will always be either here or here. The DPS that always calls 4 will always be in these locations on the opposite side. One of the DPS called 4, so that DPS is going here. The DPS that called 3 is going here. The tanker healer that called 2 is going here. And then the tanker healer that called 1 is going here. So the 4 people that got hit first, they grab the second set of towers. The 4 people that didn't get hit grab the first set of towers. Okay. So I call 1, box 2. The DPS are 3 and 4. That's literally the whole phase. That's it. Yeah, so, you know, this is another bleed. If you notice, he gets a damage up stack. So each bleed's going to hit harder. So what we do is we reprisal all of them. I reprisal the first one. Then Gran uses reprisal and missionary. And then I use reprisal and Heart of Light on the last one. And then you want to stay stacked for a little bit for this bleed. Stay stacked, then you spread, then you just repeat the process. Okay, so I didn't get hit. So 1, 2. Let's see there's 3 over there. Ooh. Yeah, how close are we, dudes? Oh, damn. We weren't even close at all, dude. Yay! We did it! Yay! Yeah, we did it! Yay! That's it! That's it!